Hello, Internet. Welcome back to the channel. So, the World Cup is going on right now, and I figured this is probably the best time to talk about football anime. Like, genuinely the best possible time. So, that's what we're doing today. We're gonna get into why the genre hits the way it does, not just as sports entertainment, but like what it's actually saying about ego, teamwork, pressure, what it costs to be good at something. And then I'll give you a few shows to watch while you're in the football headspace. Some you've probably heard of, some you probably haven't. So, let's get into it. So here's the thing about football that I think makes it work so well as an anime subject, and honestly as a storytelling subject in general. Football is the one sport where the tension between one person and a team is constantly visible. Like, you can see it in real time. One guy decides to shoot instead of pass, and either he's a hero or the whole stadium hates him. That decision, that split second of ego versus trust, that's the entire genre of football anime condensed into one moment. And different shows answer that question differently, which is what makes it interesting. Like, Blue Lock's whole premise is basically, what if we just leaned into the ego? What if the answer to Japan never winning the World Cup was to stop pretending teamwork is always the answer, and just find one genuinely selfish, genuinely obsessed striker who wants the ball more than anyone else on the planet? The entire show is built around that question, and it's uncomfortable in a good way, because you kind of agree with it, and then you feel weird about agreeing with it. Then you have something like Ashi on the complete opposite end, which is about a kid from rural Japan getting picked up by a top youth academy in Tokyo and realizing that raw talent means nothing if you can't read the game, read your teammates, and basically disappear your ego entirely. Like, the coach in that show will bench you for being selfish, even if it worked, which, if you've watched Blue Lock first, feels almost like a response to it. And that tension, that back and forth between those two philosophies, is basically what the whole genre is arguing about. But before Blue Lock and Ashi were even a thing, there was Captain Tsubasa. And I feel like you can't talk about football anime without at least acknowledging what that show did, because it basically built the foundation that everything else is standing on. It started in 1983, which, yeah, some of you weren't even a thought yet, and it follows this kid, Tsubasa Ozora, who just wants to win the World Cup for Japan. That's it. That's the whole dream. And the show is unapologetically earnest about it in a way that would probably get clowned on if it came out today. But back then, it worked. And honestly, it still kind of works because the sincerity is real. What's wild is how much real-world impact it had. Like, there are actual professional footballers, people who play at the highest level right now, who have said Captain Tsubasa is the reason they started playing. Zinedine Zidane said it, Andres Iniesta said it, Fernando Torres. So like, this anime from the 80s about a kid with a dream arguably shaped the trajectory of real football careers, which is the sentence I did not expect to type, but here we are. The show isn't super realistic, the physics are a bit generous, let's say, but that's not the point. The point is it made football feel like something worth dedicating your whole life to, and every football anime that came after it is either building on that or pushing back against it. Which leads me to the next one, Days. And this one is a bit different in terms of what it's actually about, because the main character, Tsukushi, has no talent, like genuinely, actually no talent. He's clumsy, he's slow, he has no technical skill, and he gets invited to play for his high school team basically by accident. And the show just follows him anyway, which is either going to resonate with you immediately or it's not. There's not really a middle ground. Most sports anime, even the ones that pretend to be about hard work, still give the main characters some hidden gift that eventually unlocks. Days doesn't really do that. Tsukushi just keeps showing up and caring more than everyone else, and slowly, very slowly, that starts to matter. It's a lot more slice of life than it is hype. The pacing is relaxed, and it's not trying to be Blue Lock. What makes it worth watching, especially right now during the World Cup, is that it kind of reminds you why people fall in love with football in the first place. Not because they're good at it, just because something about it got them, and they couldn't let go. And there's something kind of honest about a show that's willing to just sit with that feeling without needing to turn it into a power fantasy. It's quiet, but it sticks. Okay, So now that we've covered the big three, let me tell you about some shows that don't get nearly enough conversation, starting with giant killing. And the first thing that's different about giant killing is that the main character isn't a player, he's a coach, which sounds like a weird choice for a sports anime, but it actually makes it one of the more interesting ones in the genre, because you're not watching someone get better at kicking a ball, you're watching someone figure out how to make 11 people with different egos, different fears, and different histories function as one thing. And that's genuinely hard to watch sometimes in the best way. The premise is this guy Tatsumi, former player, bit of a legend, comes back to manage a club called East Tokyo United that's basically hitting rock bottom in the league. And the show follows the full reality of that, not just the matches, but the politics, the sponsors, fans who hate him, the players who don't trust him. It's more like a football drama than a football anime, if that makes sense. And it's aimed at adults, which you can feel in every episode. It's also where the title comes from, this idea of the underdog beating the giant, which in football is very real and very chaotic when it happens. And the show gets that feeling exactly right. If you liked the tactical and psychological side of Blue Lock but wanted something more grounded and less shonen about it, giant killing is the one.
And finally, the last hidden gem on this very short list is Farewell, My Dear Cramer. And this one I want to talk about for a slightly different reason. So the setup is pretty straightforward. A girl named Nozomi, who's genuinely technically gifted at football, but can't play in official boys matches because of league rules. So she ends up building a girls team at a school that barely has one. Coming of age, proving yourself, all that. Standard sports anime framework. But what the show actually spends most of its time on is something a lot of sports anime just skip over entirely, which is the gap between having skill and having space to use it. Like, Nozomi isn't struggling because she's not good enough. She's struggling because the structures around her weren't built with her in mind. And that's a different kind of obstacle than most sports anime deal with, and honestly, a more realistic one for a lot of people watching. It also takes the football itself seriously in a way that's easy to miss. The technical details are there. The positioning, the decision-making under pressure. It's not just vibes and friendship speeches. It didn't get a huge reception when it came out. The art style got some criticism, but the writing holds up and the themes are worth your time, especially if you've ever felt like you were playing a game where someone else wrote the rules. So yeah, that's the one I'd recommend if you want something that's doing a little more than it lets on. And so, stepping back and looking at all of these together, there's something kind of funny about the fact that football, a sport where the objective is literally just to put a ball in a net, has produced some of the most psychologically layered storytelling in anime. And I think the reason is because football is one of those things that exposes people. Like, you can't fake it for 90 minutes. At some point, the pressure gets to you or it doesn't. You trust your teammate or you don't. You take the shot or you pass it off to someone else and spend the rest of your life wondering. And anime as a medium is really good at getting inside that moment, slowing it down, showing you what's happening in someone's head before they decide. That's why Blue Lock can make a penalty kick feel like an existential crisis. That's why giant killing can make a tactical substitution feel like the most important decision a person has ever made. The sport gives you the stakes, and the medium gives you the interiority. And together, they do something that live-action football coverage honestly can't. And with the World Cup happening right now, like actually happening, you've got all of that playing out in real life every single day. Real egos, real team dynamics, real coaches making calls that will define their careers, real players carrying the weight of entire countries on their backs. So if you're already watching that and you want more of that feeling, just in animated form with occasionally unrealistic physics, well, now you know where to go.
All right, anime folk, that's the video. If you've been watching the World Cup and somehow haven't gotten into football anime yet, I genuinely don't know what you're waiting for. The door is open, the shows are right there, and Blue Lock alone will ruin you in the best way possible. Well, at least the manga or season 1. So I want to know, drop it in the comments. Which team are you rooting for in the World Cup right now? And if your team gets knocked out before the final, which football anime are you coping with? And if you've already seen any of the shows I mentioned today, which one hit the hardest for you? Because I want to know. I'll be watching the comments like a VAR review, so don't think I won't see you. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe if you enjoyed, share this with whoever you've been watching the matches with, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.